David Jack here, Superintendent of Fauquier County Public Schools, with another additional 100 question. This week's question has to do with K through 2 report cards, and the question itself is very long, but I've kind of I'm going to paraphrase the question. It's a very good question, but I'm going to just cut right to the chase. This parent mentions that my second grader came home from school last week with a new report card that features the new 4 through 1 grading scale. Over the course of the first 9 weeks, he was graded using S+, SS-, and etc. My first thought was that the 4 through 1 scale would be the same as how it's used to determine GPA. With that understanding, I assumed that a 4 represented A, or an S+, and so on. I was surprised that when my son received all 3s. I'm not sure why the county would allow each individual teacher to determine what each number in the grading scale represents. I feel it's very confusing to parents, and it's somewhat arbitrary. Could you please help me understand the grading scale better? Sure, absolutely. I'll do the best I can, but I will also ask that it's a good question, and it requires a really long answer. So if I don't hit every point, please feel free to contact your school's principal. I think that would be really helpful. Background information: principals had asked last year, or a couple principals anyway, had asked about, would it be possible to institute or to pilot an SBG, which is a standards-based grading system, at their schools, so that they're better able to identify and monitor and track the growth of students in grades K through 2. And by the way, students in grades K through 2, they have the same standards. So it's a way to use a report card, and as parents become acclimated to this new report card, they're able to track the progress of their students in real time, as opposed to, for example, a kindergartner learning to read. It doesn't make a lot of sense to take where a kindergartner is in September and average it with where they are in March to come up, or March or April or whatever, to come up with a grade. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So the principal had asked about the possibility of piloting a report card. Well, we opened it up to any school, and 10 out of our 11 elementary schools said that they would like to pilot these new report cards. And the new report cards, essentially, they use a 1 through 4 scale, but the 1 through 4s represent where the level of the student attainment of a skill. Okay, and a 4, for example, is the student 90% of the time has attained this skill. So that's the goal is to track the progress of the student, and as parents become acclimated to this way of grading, that they're better able to see and track the progress of their student, perhaps in starting kindergarten on through 2nd grade. Because the way what we had been using, of course, was a 4-page report card, which is very long and it's very difficult to digest. So we sort of took a different approach, and this is a report card that's it's a learner-based report card. It is truly about monitoring student progress and skills attainment and reporting that to parents in real time. And by the way, it is piloted. So what Dr. Mitchell has said she'll do is she'll survey teachers later on in the semester and ask, how we're doing, how is the report card, what kind of feedback are you receiving, what's working, what's not working, what maybe needs to be tweaked. Is this something that we should stick with? And then obviously we'll be talking to principals as well about the success or the non-success of this pilot. But and one last note, I'm certain we could have done a better job of training teachers in sort of in understanding what the 1, 2s, 3s, and 4s represent, what the goal of the report card is, what we were trying to accomplish, and how best to explain the report card to parents, because it's new, and before parents become, and other school divisions use this, by the way, but this is something very new to us. It's going to be new for parents and difficult to understand. So anyway, that's sort of the long and short of it. If you have specific questions, more specific questions, and you feel I've not done a good job answering, just contact your school's principal. They can do a much better job, perhaps, than I in explaining the rationale and the ins and outs of the new report card. All right, thanks for a good question. Have a great week.